It's not easy to start a business at the very beginning. Nothing is easy. But here's what I learned is learn how to plant. In the first 5 to 10 years, what I did, only one thing is plant, plant, and plant. I learned how to plant myself, to learn and grow, to learn how to run business from scratch, to build team. And that's what I learned, how to run business. I start to plant to our people, to teach our people, train our people, make sure they grow together with me. And another thing I plant with my business partners in the US, which is my clients. I learn how to bring them and help them to become successful first. That's something I learned how to plant in them. I learned how to plant with my suppliers in China because most of our suppliers are in China. I learned how to support their business. Everything I did, I without think about how to make myself successful first. I'm always think about how to make them successful. So
welcome. Today is our season 14 opener. And wait until you will meet our special guest today. Our speaker today is going to share with us live with a vision and lead with wisdom. She is a business entrepreneur, founder, owner of LaFord's Lighting and Furniture Incorporated, international projects manager, customer service specialist, motivational speaker, corporate executive trainer, and leadership coach. And in Toastmasters, she's an immediate past area M3 director. I'm referring to none other than Rossy Wu.
hello, a beautiful afternoon to all of you, our dear audience in front of the screen. Thank you so much, Mom Dina, for your invitation for this afternoon. It's such a big honor and pleasure to be here this afternoon to spend some time with our audience. Like
Yes.
Mom Dina introduced, thank you so much for the introduction about me. Thank you.
Yes, Rosie, I have been wondering because there is a certain bright spark in you. In fact, I call you a irrepressible ball of fire. You ignite everyone that you meet. I've been noticing that. So tell me, when did that spark start in you? When did you start having this really great enthusiasm for life, your passion?
Because I mastered the wisdom, how to live a life with wisdom. Since the time I understand how to master that kind of wisdom, I start to live in my own way. That starts, I think, is in early 2016 because I encountered a lot of rock bottom in my life by end of 2015. So then I realized I must make a change in my life. So I decided to went back to China to learn something. I joined an NLP training course, which is neuro-linguistic programming. I invest almost 1 million pesos for that course. There, I learned a lot of wisdoms from my master. Since that time, I don't want to live my life without wisdom. Once I know how to master our life with wisdom, so I start to shine. Yes, that's where I start.
Yeah. I tell you, Rosie, because I've been wondering, could it be her parents? Did her parents train her, or did she go to a special school? And now you've just answered. I've been wondering. There's something in her, and it's so different. It really is. I see you when, in with groups of people, and you really stand out in any event. When you were MC in the Toastmasters International Convention, that was, I said, oh my goodness, this lady, I'm glad I met her, because she's outstanding. So, Rosie, how about your parents? Did they also have a hand? Did they encourage you? What kind of influence did they have also on you?
Wow, that's a great question I want to talk about. Actually, my personal character was have a big connection with where I was born and who my parents are. My I was born actually, believe or not, in a very remote mountain place in north part of China.
Oh,
That's it. It's play a big role to be who I am today, because I'm very grateful. My starting point is quite low. Then I have a very great parents. My father was a leader in my hometown. He's like a West Mayor in my hometown. He did influence me a lot. When I was young, I witnessed how my father lead the people in my hometown to make a change in their life. When I was very young, my father told me, always encouraged me, said, girl, dream big and so high. Go as far as you can and be a useful person to many people when you grow up. That plant, that plant a root in me when I was young. So ever since I live towards those words from my daddy.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Rosie, how many siblings do you have?
I have three. I have one brother and one sister.
And are they a little bit like you, or you're the only one?
I
Like,
think I yeah, I'm the quite different one from my siblings. That's what my father called me, the special one. My parents also treat me special when I was young. I was quite stubborn. I was always aggressive to do whatever I want. I will do my best and achieve the goal. That's me already when I was young. That's why my parents, they train me like my father. He always brought me whenever he has a meeting and a big crowd of meeting. I'm always will be together with him on stage. My father is a very great leader and a speaker. That's where I was influenced. Why I'm a Toastmaster now. I want to be like my father, was able to speak in front of thousands of people. So that also influenced me a lot when I was young.
yeah, I noticed, Rosie, you mentioned it was so expensive to go to China and study neurolinguistic programming. Now, very few people here in our country can afford that. My question to you is, would you be willing to accept engagements here for groups of people who would like to learn from you? But of course, not expensive, not very expensive. Uh, can you actually do that?
Honestly speaking, I help here people here for free. I don't charge. That's my
Oh,
life. That's my life mission. Because I'm a businesswoman, I'm very grateful. My business is doing very well. I all my currently everything I'm doing make me happy is how I can contribute to the other people. Like what
oh,
my father told me, help more people as you can. So that's what I love to do. That's why I'm a Toastmaster. I'm trying to improve my public speaking so I can spread some good values to more and more people, even teach people how to be the good entrepreneur or leaders. That's my life passion.
oh, Rosie, I'm so happy to hear that, because I'm really, right now, I'm really selecting, really, really good trainers or teachers who can be part of a big worldwide summit where you share with the viewers, you wisdom, like what you have. And oh my goodness, I'm glad to hear that you're willing to do that. Okay, so I have you in mind already because there's a forthcoming event, and I've been assigned to look for outstanding speakers who can share their wisdom for particular, particular ways to help people to do better. So this is something. Now, Rosie, when did you or how did you discover this particular line? Because I was looking at your Facebook page, and I said, "Wow! I mean, lighting, furniture, and yet you are so successful." And there are so many lighting and furniture businesses around, but somehow your business just zoomed up. I mean, what was it? How did you discover that, and what made you select that particular brand?
Okay, that's a great question too. After I graduate from college, I only had one job. Is I'm working in the lighting industry. I'm as a sales department manager, which is a lighting factory in China, which is a very big company in China. I was fortunate. I was able to enter that company to work there. That's the only job I did after I graduated from college. There, I met my husband. Right now, my husband is Filipino. He's a designer for lighting. And also I met my American business partner. He's a well-known lighting industrial icon in US. So there we were able to start establish our business here in the Philippines. So because we have each of us have our strengths, so we decided to start our business in 2007 here in the Philippines. That's how we started. What bring our business to be more successful till today? Actually, at the beginning, it's not successful. It's a very difficult and challenge. Believe me, during 2007 to 2013, in the first 5 years, it's quite difficult because the American have the economic crisis during those time. Our business also challenged, was quite difficult. But the good thing is I didn't give up. We decided to do all kind of ways to find solutions to survive. Here's what I want to share with all the audience who are watching currently. It's not easy to start a business at very beginning. Nothing is easy. But here's what I learned is learn how to plant. In the first 5 to 10 years, what I did, only one thing is plant, plant, and plant. I learned how to plant myself, to learn and grow, to learn how to run business from scratch, to build team. And that's what I learned, how to run business. I start to plant to our people, to teach our people, train our people, make sure they grow together with me. And another thing I plant with my business partners in the US, which is my clients. I learn how to bring them and help them to become successful first. That's something I learned how to plant in them. I learned how to plant with my suppliers in China because most of our suppliers are in China. I learned how to support their business. Everything I did, I without think about how to make myself successful first. I'm always think about how to make them successful. So that's what I call why now our business is getting more successful, because all the people, all everything I plant before now I start to harvest. That's what I can tell you.
Oh, all right. Is it or this is amazing. It means you are really saying what I have heard from other experts before, in that they said, you really need to be patient and just continue, preparing and preparing to make yourself better. But what you have done is beyond that. See, because I heard you say something like this: I want them to succeed. Because most people, they don't think that way. They think of how they will succeed. But what did you do? You help your partners, your people to succeed first. And you did not think so much only about yourself. I mean, that, oh, now that is a big difference. Not everyone I know will do that. Think of the other, the partners, your team, and that, Rossy, that is already a valuable lesson that our viewers can. But it's hard. It's difficult. I tell you, because most people will always say, "Oh, I have to do all this, all that for them. How about me?" And yet you did not stop to think of that. So now, knowing that, so it means you go all out to help others around you to succeed. So of course they can see it, and they are collaborating and really cooperating with you, because you did everything for them. Aside from that, Rosie, because I have seen, okay, lighting and furniture shops also. But what is it in? Do you have like different designs, unique designs, or what is it that will make your products outshine the others in the market?
Wow, that's a sharp question. I love to share.
Yeah,
That's our main selling point for our business.
yeah.
Here's what I tell our client. Don't bring ordinary design here. Our factory is not going to make any ordinary products. We are targeting to high ending. High ending, we need unique designs which fit for our business, because we are targeting to do like the luxury brand for some like Louis Vuitton for the luxury things. For we want to be the making our lightings like Louis Vuitton brand someday, because that's my goal and vision. Because we want to do high quality standard products, they must have the high value, which unique design, which fit for our Philippine market. Because our Philippine people is really have very special talents, very I call a lot of our employee here just like an artist. They are not working on chandeliers, they are building the art. That's what I build our business towards that kind of direction. So that's how I inform all my business partners. This is what we are good at. Anything if you looks like quite ordinary or cheap, bring to China to make, there's manufacturing can make there. We have our special selling points. This is what we can do. I'm very confident about the talent of our people and how I'm running the business. So that brings us to something special to US market.
Okay, so it means, okay, let me see if I got this right. It means you are not only marketing here, producing here, and then marketing here, but you're also sending your manufactured products to the US and also like to China. Is that correct?
Our main selling market is in USA. 98% is in US. We only
Oh,
sell very few here in the Philippines. That's not our main market. We don't sell to China.
oh,
Yes.
it's mostly it's mostly in America.
Yes. Yes. We are
Oh, what?
supplying a lot of large uh, lighting company in the US, several famous brands. That is
Oh,
our main customer. Yes.
oh, okay. I have been wondering about that really, because when I saw your Facebook page, and I said, how many? I was wondering, oh my goodness, how many Filipinos can afford that? I mean, because I saw the designs, they're just so like fantastic. Oh my gosh, that must cost a lot of money. How many people can afford it? How can Rosie be very successful with,
Thank
uh,
you.
you know, yeah, we have to admit, our market, we cannot really afford very, very high end, for the masa. The masa cannot afford that. So must be very few only that you can sell here. So now you've answered my question. So that is because you have good partners in America. Oh, that is so fantastic. Wow. Okay. Um, Now that, to my satisfaction, honestly, and to my delight, I hear the secrets of your success in business. Now, Rosie, when you say lead with wisdom, all right. So I know you have been a leader also in Toastmasters, and then I'm sure you're a leader in your community and any event probably that you can be of some help. You do that. So what are some tips that you can give? Because some people, I tell you, Rossy, some people find it very hard to be a wise leader because the moment it sits in their mind that I'm the boss, I own this company. Say goes, and then you follow me. Uh, most okay, this is an easy way out for managers. They don't realize you really don't become a good leader if you just uh, issue commands or shout, especially shouting commands and then insulting people, etc. So now, can you give us some tips, some guidelines on how some of our managers can become better, wiser leaders?
I always love to share some wisdoms for being a leader because here I'm in my company. I call myself is a leader or a teacher, which I never call myself is a boss. I don't like to be called a boss because I think no matter you are the owner of the business or you are boss of the business, you need always work together with your team, how to make the team to feel they want to be with you, they want to follow you, and they look up to you. Then they have heart with you. That's how you can be a successful leader. Being a leader for me, it's it's also a learning process for me. At the very beginning, I was not really born as a great leader, but I know it related a lot with our personal character. It's if we are sincerely willing to help our people to become better. That is always in my mind as a leader. How we can share our knowledge if we don't have money. And if we are more rich in knowledge as a leader, our responsibility is to duplicate more people like us, to share knowledge. Later on, I become like I'm because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm own the business. Of course, financially, I'm much better conditions. So I'm willing to share money with my people. That's another way is how to lead people with big hope and faith. They feel they follow you, their life will be improved. You can help them to improve their quality of life, not only materials or in knowledge or in abilities. At the same time, you can help them to live a better life in quality. And last, because I think it's very, very important as a leader is how you can lead with emotional intelligence.
Oh,
That's
okay.
very, I have been practicing this for last 10 years. Lead with emotional intelligence, trying to be calm no matter what happens in a business. You can never be the person to shout the other people to show that once you start lose your temper in front of your team, you lose the respect. That's always I feel that way. We need to deal with people with wisdom, is how to make people feel comfortably to accept what your advice and guidance, so they are willing to follow you. That's something I have been practicing. So I feel very happy to share a lot of things regarding the emotional intelligence.
Did you? Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. And Rosie, did you also study about emotional intelligence?
I do a lot of self-learning at home.
Okay.
Because like what you said, besides doing business, how to improve myself personally, personal development is my part-time investment on myself. I join different seminars, trainings, or I join even Toastmasters to grow myself. Yeah.
That is, oh my gosh, amazing. And I'm glad that you are the way you are because you also influence other people who are with you. Now I realize why when I saw you there during the Toastmasters convention, I saw that everywhere you went, people were attracted to you. It's like you were a magnet, and now I realize why, because there is that sharing, giving attitude that you have. It's not always taking, not taking for yourself, but giving, sharing. So that is so amazing that anyone, and you're so young. I know you're so young and you've learned all of this. Imagine that. So you are right now, you are not just the sole owner, but you have partners. You have partners in China and you have partners in America. Is that right? Oh, and I heard that you have already 200 or more people in your company.
Yes.
And how do you get to know all of them? There are 200, so many. How do you get to know them?
Here's my logic, okay? I don't have to know everyone
Okay.
because for our company here in the Philippines, we are the sole owners now.
Okay.
Yes. Here, because I built up, like what I told you a while ago, I'm a company trainer. I'm training our leaders here. We have 30% of our employees or team leaders, table leaders, or production leaders. We also have more than 20 office employee. We call our administrative team. I mainly train 40 to 50 employees. I have been working as a trainer or teacher since 2016. How many years now? So every week I give them training because that's what I want to see, how I can build them up so they can lead without me. So that's why our people, they will lead the people who work under them in the same way I train them. So that's how I lead. I don't have to know everyone in our company. Honestly speaking, there's a lot of production workers. I didn't know them. So, but I know the people who lead them will pass what I train them to the people who work for us.
Yes, well, Rossy, that here in the Philippines, it's not often. In fact, again, as I mentioned, you stand out in any crowd because not everyone has that kind of openness and generosity that you have. I mean, most of the time, yeah, you know what I mean. It's people thinking about themselves and how they can advance, but not the way you are thinking that, oh, how can I let my people advance, become better? That's so unique, really. And that already makes you like we call a unique brand by yourself. Yes, yes, really. And that's the reason why I was so attracted with the title of your talk, which is Live with Vision and then Live with Wisdom. And for one so young like you, to be able to do that that is really truly amazing. I'm glad you're here with us. Really, I'm glad.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
We
but I
need.
thought that's wisdom. Really, is a wisdom I have been learned. I learned because you know what, Mom Dina, what we learned. There's something I want to share with our audience in front of the screen. Here is what I learned. I think
Okay.
it's very meaningful to share. Okay,
Yes, yes.
everything we learn in school or we read books, we call knowledge. That's knowledge. So we apply the knowledge we learned in life and we practice and verify the knowledge and make the benefit for us. I call that wisdom. That's why everything I learn, I will practice it. And I will prove the knowledge I learned, it will work in the real life. So that's the time I will share with more and more people because I know that's wisdom. I prove it works. So I want more and more people to know that. So that's how I lead our people as same way. I sincerely wish all the people who work for me or who I share can become better, can benefit 1 point or two and make a change in their life.
That's amazing the way you think, really. I'm happy that you are here to influence many people around you. By the way, aside from Toastmasters, Rosie, is there any other association that you are you are a member of?
Currently, I'm also a member for Zonta International.
Okay,
Zonta.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
because yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad because I have some Zonta officers and members here also who are my friends, and they are also outstanding in their own way. And I'm not surprised that you are with Zonta. So I suppose you have been a president already of your Zonta club.
Not yet. Actually, I just started to get out of my company to become more sociable with the organization outside because in the last 15 years, I spent my full focus in my business to lead my business to become more successful and build my team. So that's why now I start to go get out of my company because I know I want to spread the values or I want to share with more and more people based on what I have learned by
I
leading my yeah.
Yes. So oh my gosh, thank you so much. Now, is there any forthcoming event or activity that you have that you would like to invite our viewers to participate in, or any other or any announcement you may have?
So far I don't have any plan to do any activities because I'm still busy to build up our team because our business is growing this year with new customer join. I went back to our company again this year to start to build up our team again. So currently I don't have any plan to do any activities. If you have any activities you would like me to coordinate with you, I may will join, but for
Yeah.
myself, I don't have.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm already letting you know in advance that in the next 1 or 2 months, well, of course, I have to check with your schedule because I'm planning to have you as a panelist in a worldwide summit that I have been invited to help as a moderator, and
Sure.
they they want from different countries, different speakers. So I'm already thinking of you because of the wisdom that I just honestly in such a short time I learned so much from you, Rossy. Really, and
Thank
I'm beginning to understand. I'm beginning to understand now what is it. What is it that makes her spark so much? You practically sparkle wherever you go, and I believe it's really coming from inside out. It's something that you bring forth to everywhere you go, and people
thank
can feel it. Yeah. So I tell you this, I'm so happy I invited you. Yeah, yeah, really. So thank you so much, Rossy, and of course, to our viewers, I want to let everybody know that our next speaker will be Conrad Favorito with the topic values that leaders must have. And, and everybody, when you go to our YouTube, the Leaders Edge channel by SEA please click like and subscribe, and your comments will be very welcome, especially like me, even if I'm just a viewer now. I'm already listed several things in my mind. I'm already memorizing what you just taught me, Rossy, and that is so fantastic. I'm sure many of our viewers will appreciate this. So, again, let me just remind everybody that we are here because learning is a never ending journey with limitless vistas.